Coming up next, an event in State College to show support for victims in the Israel-Hamas war.
We wanted to create a space where everyone felt comfortable. And that was about promoting peace and community and connection.
Plus, the numbers are in. Results from this week's Pennsylvania election.
And a unique housing option opens in our area. The Center County Report starts now. Good afternoon, I'm Emily McGlynn.
And I'm Carly Knowlton. Thanks for joining us for the Center County Report. Our top story, the latest on the Israel-Hamas war. For the first time since fighting began about a month ago, Israel has agreed to allow 4-hour humanitarian pauses every day to allow people to move to the south. Crowds of Palestinians walked out of Gaza City yesterday to escape Israeli airstrikes and ground troops battling Hamas in neighborhoods. More than 12,000 people in Israel and Gaza have been killed so far in the war. And today, U.S. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken said far too many Palestinians have died and more needs to be done to save lives and where it's needed.
As the war drags on and thousands die, a local Jewish group says it wanted to have a public show of support for the victims on both sides. Reporter Shannon Tanzo is in our studio with the story. Shannon?
Emily, today Penn State Hillel is continuing what it calls the Walk in Solidarity in downtown State College. The event began earlier this week to show support for people affected by the violence in Israel and Gaza. As the war rages on in Israel and Gaza, Penn State Hillel began its Walk in Solidarity on Wednesday through downtown State College. Starting at the Gutterman Family Center, group walks took place to demonstrate support for all impacted. While training for a half marathon, Jordan Cheadle came up with a plan for the walk.
As I was running, I was like, wait, we could just have people count how many miles they walk or run and turn that into an event.
While you could join in person, participants could also walk on their own and keep track of their miles. They could then submit proof for a chance to win a gift card to the Penn State bookstore. With promotions saying this is not a political event, conflict of any kind was strongly discouraged. Any arguments that started would result in an immediate dismissal from the walking groups. Executive Director Aaron Kaufman explained that this is part of Hillel's beliefs.
There's a Jewish value called B'Tselem Elohim, which means effectively created in the image of God, so that everyone is equal in that way, and we wanted to create a space where everyone felt comfortable.
With an emphasis on solidarity, the turnout for the event was incredibly different compared to that of protests over the past few weeks. Cheadle feels that this was to be expected.
I think the people who show up at protests are very adamant about what they're speaking for, and a lot of people, they try to seek that combativeness rather than that solidarity that we're looking for.
The Walk in Solidarity wraps up tonight. There are about 5,000 Jewish students at Penn State and a much smaller group of Palestinian students.
Results are in from Tuesday's election across the state. Democrats swept 4 statewide judicial races. Daniel McCaffrey will serve as the new state Supreme Court justice after beating Republican Carolyn Carluccio with 52 to 48%. Democrats Jill Beck and Timika Lane were both voted in onto the Superior Court, beating 2 other candidates. And Democrat Matthew Wolf won a seat on the Commonwealth Court after beating Republican Megan Martin 53 to 47%. In Center County, all 3 incumbent commissioners won re-election. Democrats Amber Concepcion and Mark Higgins, along with Republican Steve Dersham.
A crash on Route 322 in Boalsburg has left a 68-year-old woman dead. Police say the Bellefonte woman was driving on 322 on Wednesday when her car veered into the other lane and was hit head-on by a tractor trailer. The woman was pronounced dead at the scene. The highway was closed for hours. But drivers on I-99 can expect less construction delays around Port Matilda and Grays Woods. That's because PennDOT announced the 7-mile highway ceiling project in Houston and Worth Townships has ended more than a month early. The project costs near $1 million.
Quick work by firefighters kept a blaze from spreading in Harris Township. It happened Wednesday on Dewey Lane. A big stack of firewood caught on fire and threatened to spread to a home just 30 feet away. The Boalsburg Fire Company crews put it out and saved the nearby house. The Waffle Shop restaurant in downtown State College has reopened after being closed for about a month after a fire. That happened on October 10th. Luckily, nobody was hurt, but the fire caused smoke damage in the restaurant.
The search for a missing teenager from State College is still ongoing. Police are working to find 15-year-old Trinity Wooden, who was last seen leaving her State College home on Saturday morning. She's around 5'3" and 90 pounds and was last seen wearing a gray sweatshirt with a tan tote bag. She's believed to be in the Philadelphia area. Police are asking anyone with information on Wooden to call them at this number or submit an anonymous tip online.
Penn State's annual enrollment report is out and the numbers are promising. University-wide enrollment for fall 2023 is at nearly 88,000 students. That number is down just 0.2% from last fall. Additionally, for the 5th straight year, there's an increase of incoming first-time and transfer undergrad students from underrepresented groups. Commonwealth campuses showed a slight enrollment decline, and University Park had a small increase. There are now more than 48,000 students at the main campus.
Right down the street from Penn State's campus, a first-of-its-kind housing option is now available in Pennsylvania. Reporter Sophia Montani has the details.
After nearly 4 years of planning and construction, the first Passive House certified home in Pennsylvania is now on the market. It's in State College on University Drive. The renovated home is one of 78 households the State College Community Land Trust has built in the area since 1996. It's part of a partnership between NVIDIA Solar, FAIR, West Penn Power, the State College Borough, and the Center County Commissioner's Office. The collaboration not only ensured a quality home for home buyers, but future affordability. Utilities like solar panels and proper ventilation can help keep utility costs down to as low as $12 a month.
How can we ensure that the houses that we're renovating, besides being affordable for someone to buy, but it's also affordable for the household to maintain?
Through renovations, contractors can receive a Passive House certification by improving the home's thermal insulation, getting Passive House windows and doors, creating air tightness, maintaining continuous ventilation, and reducing thermal bridges. It's the knowledge transfer that will allow this certification to be applied to other properties.
Proof of concept is important, and I think hopefully in the near future, a lot of builders will start to implement some of the more affordable passive solar home concepts in their houses.
Center County municipalities say they're working with county commissioners and builders to make affordable housing more accessible. This duplex renovation is just the most recent step in that journey.
I think it shows that it can be done.
In State College, I'm Sophia Montani with the Center County Report.
To see if you're eligible to apply for a land trust build, you can contact the State College Community Land Trust. To get started, check out their inquiry form at scclandtrust.org.
Get ready for a chilly weekend. We have the 7-day forecast coming up.
Plus, the latest on the scandal that's swirling around the Michigan football team as they arrive in State College. And also coming up, a local child's wishes come true with a very magical trip. That's later in our newscast. The college football world is still watching and waiting today to hear if Michigan will face any discipline over the sign-stealing allegations that have clouded its season. That as the team arrives in State College this afternoon for tomorrow's showdown against Penn State. Reporter Alex Rocco is at Beaver Stadium with the details. Alex?
Thanks, Emily. A potential decision on Jim Harbaugh's fate could be coming at any moment. ESPN's Heather Dinich was reporting that a decision could be coming anytime this afternoon. Michigan's team plane leaves for Happy Valley at around 1 p.m. As the scandal rolls on, the Big Ten and the college football world is in a buzz.
As the third-ranked Michigan Wolverines roll into State College for Saturday's showdown against Penn State, the scandal surrounding the team shows no sign of slowing down. Michigan is accused in a sign-stealing scheme that involved impermissible in-person scouting of opponents going back to as long as 3 seasons ago. Both the NCAA and the Big Ten Conference have been looking into the allegations for nearly 3 weeks while the team focuses on its unbeaten campaign. Head coach Jim Harbaugh has denied any knowledge of an improper scouting scheme in his program. As for Penn State, it's focused on the football field.
I know these questions are going to come this week. I'm going to focus on the things that we can control. we always have to have a plan, and I think I've already kind of covered this and talked about this in terms of what we do.
Former Michigan staffer Connor Stalions, who resigned last week, is accused of buying tickets to games involving Michigan's future opponents while recording video of team signals. Photos on the internet also suggest Stalions was on the Central Michigan sideline during a September game while wearing CMU gear and sunglasses. Penn State beat reporter Mark Wogenrich noted the distraction could help Michigan tomorrow.
But the fact that they're going into a road environment that's going to be, it's going to be, on a scale of sarcastic to hostile, it's going to flow. The fan base is going to flow in between that. That might be good for them.
The Nittany Lions are the first-ranked team Michigan faces this season.
While no decision has been made publicly yet on Jim Harbaugh's fate, the college football world sits and waits to hear what the punishment is handed down. We'll have more on this top 10 matchup later in sports. Live from Beaver Stadium, I'm Alex Rocco. Now back to you guys.
Thanks, Alex. This week, Penn State's Thon celebrated 100 days to the annual 46-hour dance marathon, and it announced the organization raised $1.6 million during its 2-week fundraising effort called Dream Forward. That far surpassed the goal of $850,000. Thon is set for February 16th through the 18th at the Bryce Jordan Center.
Good afternoon, Center County. I'm student meteorologist David Guerrero, and we were in a bit of a temperature roller coaster so far this week, but we'll be returning to mid-November weather with temperatures at 47 degrees, feels like 43 with the low dew point at 32, so it's relatively dry. I also want to mention the mostly cloudy conditions that's right now covering Beaver Stadium, but thankfully the clouds will then roll through the Atlantic and it will get more clear as the day progresses. But it's actually seasonable in the Central Valley with temperatures at 49 degrees in Clearfield, 46 degrees in State College. Heading down to the Ridge and Valley, temperatures are 44 degrees in Johnstown. Then in the Erie shoreline, they're seeing temperatures at 53 degrees, a little above average, but all in all, mostly seasonable for the Commonwealth. But it actually is colder than what we saw yesterday with temperatures in Center County 11 degrees below than what we saw this time yesterday. Now talking about weather, talking about the cloud cover will then roll through towards the Atlantic. We'll start to clear up around sunset. Then the clouds will then return in the overnight hours. But then we'll start Saturday in a chilly fashion with temperatures in the low 40s. Then the clouds will then return during the middle of the game, but then they'll start to weaken and we'll end Saturday in a clear way. But then another swath of clouds will come through on Sunday. I also want to mention Sunday will be the coldest day of the week with temperatures in the mid 40s. And then we'll end the night in a clear way as well. And the clear conditions will be the name of the game for the rest of the week, but I'll have more on that in the extended forecast coming up. But for today, temperatures will be at 52 degrees, nice and seasonable, decreasing clouds as we head into the rest of the day. Then around sunset, temperatures will drop down to 34 degrees. We'll have a mix of clouds, but we'll also have a nice view of the stars and the moon. Then for tomorrow, like I said, we'll start off the day in a chilly way. And tomorrow is Penn State versus Michigan, the most anticipated game of the year. We'll start off the day with temperatures at 41 degrees. Then we'll start to climb to 47 degrees at the start of the kickoff. Then as the game progresses, we'll have clouds start to roll in. Temperatures will stay in the upper 40s. Then for our 7-day forecast, that swath of clouds will come through on Sunday. Sunday will be the coldest day of the week. Then Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, we'll have high pressure come through. Then we'll have sunny weather dominate. But I also want to mention Wednesday and Thursday, we're going to start an increasing trend of temperatures. Starting with Wednesday, temperatures will be at 54 degrees. Then on Thursday, we'll be around the upper 50s. But all in all, for the start of the work week, it'll be nice and seasonable.
All right. Hopefully it's good tomorrow, good weather. Sunday, you said it's going to be the coldest, so not looking forward to that. But I walked here this morning in my flip-flops, and I'm like, oh, too chilly.
Yeah, I have not been liking this uncertain weather recently, and especially with the Big Ten matchup coming up this weekend, I have no idea what's going to happen. And actually, speaking of that, we're going to throw it over to Jacob Schnurr with sports.
Thanks, Emily. Coming up in sports today, we've got an update on a high school quarterback who suffered a scary injury during a game. Also, Penn State football's Big Ten rival Michigan is in Happy Valley for a huge top 10 game. We preview the matchup after the break. I'm Jacob Schnurr with sports. Penn State will face arguably its biggest challenge of the season tomorrow at Beaver Stadium. A striped-out crowd will watch as the Lions still have a chance to keep their Big Ten and playoff hopes alive.
The pressure is on Penn State and head coach James Franklin this week. On Saturday, Penn State will play a top 5 team for the second time this season. Franklin is a woeful 3-16 against top 10 teams during his time at Penn State. The last time they faced a team of this caliber, things ended poorly in a 20-12 loss to Ohio State. But wide receiver Keandre Lambert-Smith thinks the team is ready for another challenge.
That's going to be a great challenge for our offense, defense, special teams, and I think we're prepared for it.
James Franklin echoed the same sentiments.
Obviously, one of the most highly ranked and regarded teams in the country, and so that'll be a challenge. I know our guys are looking forward to it.
When the Wolverines traveled to Happy Valley in 2021, they came away with a 21-17 victory. Now, 2 years later, this matchup looks to be another low-scoring defensive affair. The Wolverines and the Nittany Lions ranked 1 and 2 respectively in total defense.
Two really good defenses that also set their offenses up for success. And I think both defenses are playing really good.
With a loss to Michigan, Penn State will be officially eliminated from Big Ten title contention, while a win would be Franklin's first victory over the Wolverines since 2020.
Kickoff is at noon, and you can listen live on Penn State Com Radio with our broadcast team at Beaver Stadium. The Fox Big Noon Kickoff Show will also be here, broadcasting live from 10 a.m. till noon outside the BJC. High school football is well into the playoffs across Central PA. Let's see where the action takes place tonight. The State High Little Lions will face Altoona at 7 p.m. in Hollidaysburg. The Lions are 6-3 this season, while Altoona is 5-6. Also on the slate for tonight, 10-1 Bald Eagle plays host to Forest Hills in Wingate. Bald Eagle is looking to win its 5th game in a row. Catch these games and more on our sports show After the Whistle tonight at 11:30 in our Belisario Student Media YouTube channel. Also take a look at this, a special moment last night in State College. 50 years ago yesterday, State High beat Pittsburgh Central Catholic 37-26 to win the state championship. Last night, former players from that team met at Memorial Field and walked from the goal line to the 50-yard line, accompanied by Queen's "We Are the Champions" over the loudspeaker to honor this milestone. What a great scene. And also, a Western PA high school quarterback is showing signs of improvement after a scary injury. Carson City quarterback Mason Martin collapsed during a game in September after an on-field hit he suffered from a collapsed lung and brain bleeding. But his father recently shared an update on Facebook saying Mason had surgery to put a cranial flap in place. He also said his son was awake and responsive. Penn State men's soccer team is heading to the Big Ten Tournament Championship this weekend after a thrilling shootout win against Ohio State. By the second half of the game Wednesday night, both teams were tied 1-1 after the Buckeyes scored on a penalty kick and Penn State scored later. It was all shots and no goals in the second half. Forcing overtime after the second OT, we still didn't have a winner, so it went to penalty kicks, and the Nittany Lions won the shootout 4-3. They play Indiana on Sunday in Bloomington. And also, the women's soccer team plays tonight at home in the first round of the NCAA tournament. Their opponent is Central Connecticut State. Penn State men's basketball looks to continue a good start as the Nittany Lions host Lehigh tonight. The Mike Rhodes era began with a bang on Monday night when Penn State beat Delaware State 79-45. Returning sophomore Kanye Clary led the way with 22 points. Tonight's game tips at 7:30, and it's Military Appreciation Night at the BJC. And also, the Lady Lions return to action this afternoon at 5 against Navy at home. Penn State is 1-0 to start the season. They beat Bucknell on Tuesday 94-51, and who else but Shea Chesky to have the standout performance of the night with 18 points. Also on the slate for this weekend, guys, men's hockey will travel to East Lansing to face Michigan State in a big series this weekend. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thank you, Jacob. My cousin actually plays volleyball at Lehigh, so she's friends with the basketball players, so I'm excited. Maybe I'll see them around campus. I don't know.
That is very exciting. Coming from Michigan, I'm going to receive a lot of backlash from my friends this weekend over this football game, so hopefully the Blue and White can snag that W for us, at least for my sake. Thanks, Jacob, for that report. Coming up next, a positive story about hopes and wishes that came true for a child in our area.
A State College family is heading to the happiest place on earth after getting a wish granted from a local nonprofit. Olivia Dunn has their story.
Okay, one purple.
In the Brown house in State College, there's a tradition before dinner, Candyland. 9-year-old daughter Susie is a passionate player.
She can get even the most cool person to open up and start talking. It's a real gift.
Susie has Cohen syndrome, a rare genetic disorder with vision loss, diminished muscle tone, and developmental delays. This October, the Browns were granted a wish, not from a fairy godmother, but from Pixie Dust Wishes, a nonprofit that awards families of children with disabilities vacations to Disney World.
So it's a place and a week that we get to send people down where they don't have to worry about any of the details or any of the regular challenges that we normally face navigating, day-to-day life with a lot of things that we have to do.
Jamie Miller, the founder of Pixie Dust Wishes, says Susie stood out among the applications for the wish.
Also with Susie's disability, there's progressive vision loss. So part of their wish was for her to be able to see Disney before that declines to a point where she wouldn't be able to see Disney.
Susie's paraprofessional, Stacy Craig, nominated her for the trip. In her application, she said
that she is such a gift to me every day. We have so much fun together while we're learning. And I said that I would love to just be a blessing to her in her life.
And how did Susie feel when she got the trip?
Very happy.
It was clear Susie's the most excited out of anyone. In State College,
I can't wait.
I'm Olivia Dunn with the Center County Report.
The Browns say they haven't chosen a date yet, but their magical vacation will most likely be over spring break. That was so cute, especially the ending right there.
I know, she's so sweet.
I wish I could go with them.
Me too. Well, unfortunately, that's all the time we have for today's newscast. We hope you'll join us Tuesday for our next local news update.
But you can follow us anytime for our breaking news on our Center County Report X. You can also see our stories on our Facebook page, Instagram, YouTube, and our website. Have a good afternoon.